Today on Larry King Now, Tony and Emmy Award-winning singer Kristin Chenoweth for a conversation about her new album, Coming Home.
Made me more scared to perform for that theater and that crowd than at Buckingham Palace or any president.
About her idol, Dolly Parton.
We've talked a couple times, and when she very first met me, she said, "You could play me."
About bonding with the cast of Glee.
Those kids, the first day I was on the set, they said, "You know, we look up to you so much." I can remember Chris Colfer saying, this is like working with Jesus. And I thought, oh no, so not.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Kristin Chenoweth, the Emmy and Tony Award-winning singer and actress. She won her Tony in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, dazzled audience as Galinda in Wicked, returns to Broadway this February to star in On the 20th Century. She just received her first live concert album, just released it rather, Kristin Chenoweth, Coming Home. The concert premieres on PBS stations nationwide on November 28th. Congratulations on this.
Thank you, Larry.
It's a great, great album.
Thank you.
What, on the 20th century, they're bringing that back?
Yeah, you know, it's never been revived in 40 years.
And it was a movie too, right?
Yeah, with Carol Lombard.
Right.
And then they did it for Madeline Kahn, and it made, on Broadway, it made Kevin Kline a star, and now me and Peter Gallagher are doing it.
I love Peter.
Oh, nicest guy.
He sings and acts, he's great.
No, he's not bad to look at.
No. When do you open, Kristin?
Okay, we open in March, I think 9th or 10th, I can't remember. But we start previews in February. I start rehearsals January 2nd.
Right after the New Year.
I know, I'm scared, I'm nervous about it. It's hard.
This album,
yeah.
You performed it where?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Why? Why?
Why?
You could have done it at Carnegie Hall.
I could have. Well, I am from Broken Arrow, and they named a theater after me there. And when PBS and I were talking about where to do it, I was looking at the usual suspects, of course, and then I thought, why wouldn't I do it at the Kristin Chenoweth Theater? And honestly, the material that I've chosen to do is a career record, and it should be done at home. So.
And your folks were in the first row?
Yeah, that was not easy, looking down and seeing my dad.
Did that make you nervous or not nervous?
Made me more scared to perform for that theater and that crowd than at Buckingham Palace or any president or
Who's a bigger critic, your mother or your father?
In the music department, it's my dad. In the life department, it's my mom. Makes sense, right?
All right, now, some of the songs on this album, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I Could Have Danced All Night, All the Things You Are, Maybe This Time. Are you an old soul?
Yeah. I was born in the wrong time. I should have been born in the 40s, maybe, or, yeah. You
prefer pop and the swing era and
I like
standard, the Great American Songbook?
Because of the lyrics, Larry, the lyrics that Cole Porter, that Jerome Kern, you know, it's my favorite composer, Bernstein, Rodgers and Hammerstein, Comden and Green, Julie Stein. This is the era that I should have been. But you know what? My younger fans will be introduced. I sang Maybe This Time on Glee, and they were like writing in, going, oh, tweeting me, oh gosh, I love that song. Was that written for you? I just giggle.
Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we've got a clip of you singing Maybe This Time. It's spectacular. Let's take a look. Why does that voice come out of that little person? How tall are you, Kristin?
4'11".
4'11".
Yeah, like the size of one of your arms.
Did you always have that big sound?
I did, and my dad's an engineer, and my mom was a nurse, or studying to be a nurse, and they don't sing, nor should they ever sing. But they didn't know what the heck happened with me.
How'd you get that thing to go on Glee?
They just
You played someone who had attended the school, right?
Yes, an old, has-been girl that never really made it, but was the star in high school, and Ryan Murphy did something genius. He had me singing Maybe This Time and a Carrie Underwood song in the same episode. That's the genius of Glee right there.
Are we going to see you in the final season?
I don't know. I don't know if April went to heaven, if she's alcoholic. I don't know where she went.
The young Glee people see you as kind of a role model?
Yeah.
What was it like working on that show?
It was cool, mainly because those kids, the first day I was on the set, they said, you know, we look up to you so much. I can remember Chris Colfer saying, this is like working with Jesus. And I thought, oh no, so not. But it made me so proud that people that age, it's like me looking up to Carol Burnett and Madeline Kahn and Bernadette Peters. It's like me looking up to them, you know.
How did a girl from, this is an old-time show business question, how did a girl from Broken Arrow make it to Broadway?
It's all right, I'm an old soul.
What is Broken Arrow like?
It's not very, it's kind of just there. We dragged Maine and then we dragged Maine. That was kind of it. I don't know how it happened. I had cool parents that said, hey, you want to do music, you want to do ballet, piano. They supported it, and I went and auditioned for a scholarship at Oklahoma City University and got in. And
where was your break? What was your first big role?
My first big role was Steel Pier, a musical that didn't last long on Broadway. It was an all-about Eve character, a Kander and Ebb musical. And it's tough when Kander and Ebb write you an aria, and you look out in the audience and you see that there's balconies empty. I'm like, I don't understand how this musical isn't selling out every night with this. It just was a tough lesson, you know, the very first Broadway show. And then Charlie Brown, and I won the Tony for that. So then it was kind of off and running.
Charlie Brown was a great show.
It was cute, right?
Oh, I loved it.
I loved it too.
Supper time.
It's supper time. So good.
Up next, who can say they've been on Glee and The West Wing? This woman, more with Kristin Chenoweth right after this. Kristin Chenoweth, Coming Home is what an album, what songs? Geez, you're an old soul.
Yeah, I am.
When was the first time you got paid to sing?
Wow, this is going to crack you up. I was probably 12, and I had been discovered at my church, so the Southern Baptist Convention asked me to come and sing at their big convention, and I was really little, and they gave me an offering. It wasn't really a paycheck, but it was an offering, and I remember it went right to my college fund.
How much was it?
I bet it was $1,000, which back then I thought, well, I can retire.
Wow, I never saw that kind of. Now, you've already won a Tony, but then you got Wicked, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about? How'd you get that great part?
Okay, the composer, Stephen Schwartz, was doing a big hit sitcom for NBC called Kristin, and he called me and he said, I wanted you to come in and do this reading of this musical I wrote, kind of with you in mind. And I said, oh, I'm so tired and busy, let me read it. I read it and I knew exactly I need to come do it. And it was just Act 1. And I showed up to do it, I work on the workshop, and I didn't know it would be the juggernaut it is today, but I knew that it would be special and reach people, and that's how it happened.
Why is it a juggernaut?
Because it's a love story really between two women, and love story, I mean, it's got the themes of life that I value. It's true friendship and forgiveness, which is hard to do sometimes when you really love somebody. It's easy to forgive a guy on the highway that cut you off. It's hard to forgive your brother, your mom, your cousin, your best friend.
Well, there's a movie in the works, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Would you play it?
Well, I mean, they better hurry up because, I don't know, I could play it from afar. No, I'd love to be in it somehow, just not one of the midgets.
Well, you would think.
I mean, I could also do that, but.
Why not?
Why?
You turned down a role on The West Wing to do Wicked?
I did.
Yeah. But then you got on The West Wing.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Well, Aaron Sorkin had seen my version of The Music Man on ABC Disney with Matthew Broderick. And he wrote me the sweetest, kindest, almost like a fan letter, and said, I want you to come on the show. And I had to make a decision at that time between West Wing and Wicked, and that was a tough one. And then a year later, he ended up leaving the West Wing, and I got a part on it. And it was only supposed to be like 3 or 4 episodes. It turned into 2 years.
It's wild working with the way he writes, Sorkin, right? I mean, he writes every word.
He's genius. He's crazy genius. He's so talented isn't even enough, I don't think.
You got to do every line that he writes.
Yeah, he's got to act it out.
Can't change a line.
No, it's got to be the and the buts all got to be in. And I've never worked with Aaron, you know. I've never worked with him because by the time I got on West Wing, he'd left the show. But obviously, we've stayed friendly over the years.
How do you do? Are you a singer who acts or an actress who sings?
I think it's the same. I don't view it different.
Because when you're singing, you're acting, right?
Yeah, and I sing it because I can't speak it. And I sometimes stop singing so I can talk. I don't know.
Were you trained musically?
Yes, when I was a little bitty girl, my mom, I begged for piano lessons, and I took classical piano my whole life. I think that really informed me, and ballet. Isn't that crazy? A little girl from Broken Arrow, all the classics, and then, I don't know.
Why didn't you change your name?
Oh, really? I love that you asked that question. Nobody's asked me that question. Because my dad would have been sad had I done that. And I was advised to change it, but...
Not a show business catchy name.
No, but, you know, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, so why can't there be Kristin Chenoweth?
Did show business people ask you to change it?
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to New York, my very first agent, typical, like, smoker. She was just tough. She had so many balls in her voice. And she would say, "You gotta change the name, kid." I can't even do it. I sound like Betty Boop. But I said, "Nope, I'm not gonna change it. It's Chenoweth. And people are gonna learn how to say it." And now there's a theater with it spelled out there, so if people get confused, they can go and look at it and see it.
How do you make room in your life for, like, dating? do you date?
Yeah, I do date. I'm dating right now. I'm just dating around. I've had great relationships. Some bad
How do you
ones.
meet people? Usually in the business?
Usually, because think about who I'm with all the time, you know. But I've had a good time. I've had a good time.
Do you want children?
I have thought about that a lot, and I've always thought it would happen by now. But obviously, the career and the sacrifice of that came first for a long time, and also wanted to do it with someone. I also wanted to be
Well, it's a
married.
good idea to do it with someone.
You have, yeah. Well, you kind of need that, I guess, right, Larry? But I didn't want to do it on my own, I guess. But now I feel like I could do it on my own.
You mean you could adopt?
I could adopt. I could adopt. I was adopted.
Or you could have...
I could have a child. I could just, yeah.
Would you want to be pregnant? You could have...
I haven't been one of those women that feel like, oh my gosh, my life would be complete to have the birthing experience. In fact, I probably hope to be put out for the birthing of the baby and wake up with it in my arms. But no matter how you get a child, I think it's great. I mean, being an adopted child, I know how much love I've felt my whole life.
You once said, "I have a lot more dark in me than people think." I can't believe this. What is dark in Kristin?
Oh,
Just give me one thing that would shock me.
well, I mean, I think I can get depressed. I think,
You're always bubbly, but you can be bubbly while depressed.
yes, and then I go home and I can let it out. My life, you know, my life was about, you don't cry in front of the people, you suck it up.
And being from Broken Arrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Go down Main Street, just get a little depressed. Dolly Parton's been eyeing Kristin to play her on Broadway. What does it take to fill those shoes? I know one thing she doesn't fill. We'll be right back. Kristin Chenoweth is the guest. The album is Coming Home. All right, tell me about Little Sparrow. That's a Dolly Parton song. You want to play her?
Oh, yeah, I want to play her. Are you kidding
Has
me?
she contacted you?
We've talked a couple times, and when she very first met me, she said, "You could play me." And I thought, I could play you.
Well, you're as tall as her.
I'm as tall in some areas, but I'm lacking a couple things. I think
Yes.
we know what we're talking about.
Well, all right. Would you have them give you big?
Of course.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I'm-
have to- you
I'm
couldn't
be
play
true to
dumb.
her. Absolutely. She calls him Shock and Awe. I call mine Dumb and Dumber.
Like Dolly, you're very open about your faith.
Yeah.
Right? But in your faith, you fight for the LGBT community,
Yeah.
which many in your faith would be askance at.
Right. It's been an interesting journey because, again, from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, I never thought I'd be sitting across from you, Larry, talking about this. I never would have thought it would have ever come up I grew up in the Bible Belt where I didn't even know anybody else who wasn't in my religion, right? Christian. And as time has gone on, and my mind has been sort of open, and I've met people that I've loved so much, I think this just can't be wrong. People who love each other.
So, but if the Bible says it.
Yeah, you know what? Bible says a lot of things, and I do read the Bible and I pray. But, you know, if it was a sin to be 4'11", what would I do? I'd just be going to hell. I'm 4'11", that's the way God made me. So God made person gay, that's what I believe. I don't want to be judged for the way I believe either, people.
Do you get in fights with family or friends? I mean, not fights, but arguments?
No, because my family's so respectful, and they would never, ever judge anyone. They're just not like that.
You were fired once because of your feelings from what, a musical role?
I was touring with a Christian women's faith-based group, and I was going to be promoting my Christian record that I did, my second album I did. It was inspirational. And yeah, they asked me to step down, and I said, no, you'll have to go ahead and fire me. And they said, no, we'd really like for you to just step down. I said, no, that's okay, you can go ahead and fire me. So they did.
Have you ever thought of leaving your faith?
Never. I'm a Christian, that's what I believe, it's what's worked for me, and I would never, ever. I'm a child of God, and I'm a Jesus freak. But I like to have a drink or two.
Do young LGBT teens reach out to you?
Yeah. They say my mom and dad disown me and tell me I'm going to hell, or my mom and dad won't help me go to college, or there's a great foundation, Trevor Foundation, that I work with that helps kids that have been pushed out of their homes because of their sexuality, and especially, all this is done in the name of God, really? No.
Do you ever doubt your faith?
I have in the past, not even doubted, just been like, really? I questioned it and stuff, but I've always come back to the same place. I am what I am, and I believe what I believe.
I can't make that leap.
It is a choice, faith.
It's
faith
a leap.
Is a choice. It
a
is
leap
a leap.
Of faith.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Come on over, Larry.
Yeah. I can't believe it. That someone's up there.
It totally. I'm telling you right now, there is. Look at your kids.
I look at them, yes.
They're miracles.
Someone's up there.
Yep. You'll see.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I was going to say put in a word for me, but I'll be there before you. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I'm a communicator.
Okay.
If it's true,
yeah,
I'll get it to you.
Will you? You'll be like, you were right, Cheno.
I'll get it to you.
Done.
Because you think I can keep quiet? Coming up next, Kristin answers your questions and tells us how she met her friend Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite people, plus her pick to host the Tonys. Stick around. The album is coming home. The guest is Kristin Chenoweth. You're going to see her on Broadway next year in March with Peter Gallagher.
Yeah.
On the 20th Century, a famous show from years and years, a famous movie as well. Social media questions. Lauren Riley tweets, what's the single weirdest thing anyone has yelled at you or done in a concert?
Oh, I remember I was Miss OCU, and I was in a parade, and I was riding along doing my wave. I've, had a crown or two on my head, Larry. And someone yelled out, "You're short!" And I thought, well, no crap. Really? You're kidding. I thought it was weird. Newsflash, you're short. I didn't have any idea.
Molly Walker tweets, if you had to choose another profession, what would it be?
Well, I used to think I want to be a forensic scientist, but I'm friendly with my security guy, and he tells me that I don't want to do that, that the things I would see would scare the crap out of me. So I'd probably want to be, I love jewelry, I love to design, and I'd love to...
You could do that now.
I could do that. I think I might do it, start working on it.
A line. Put a line of...
Yeah, little diva.
Who should host the Tonys, you?
I don't know. I'd love to do it.
You'd be great.
I'd love to do it. I love Broadway. Sean Hayes was great.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman was great. Neil Patrick Harris. Everybody they've had's been great. I'd like to do it with Nathan Lane.
Oh, Nathan. Mm-hmm. I love Nathan.
Me too.
Hello, Erica tweets. How did you become friends with Quentin Tarantino, and has he ever talked to you about a role in one of his films?
I was the host of the Critics' Choice Movie Awards when *Inglourious Basterds* was nominated, which was my favorite film of the year. It
was one of my favorite films of all time.
Ever. Whenever it's on, I have to see it, Larry.
Goodbye, Felicia.
I love that you just quoted it. But I'm blown away. And I did a whole opening about lighting up the theater, the critics in the theater, setting them on fire, and Quentin played with me. He did part of the video, and I don't know him well. I've just met him a couple times, and he's been honored by the Friars Club, and I just honor him. I don't know, I think his brain it probably hurts. There's a lot of brains in there.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Genius.
We now play a game of If You Only Knew.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
I just throw questions at you.
Okay.
Remember the first boy you kissed?
Yeah.
What was his name?
It was Cole.
Cole.
It was
Naturally, Broken Arrow. It's got to be Cole.
And it was at church camp. There you go.
How old were you?
I was in kindergarten. Don't judge me. I've always liked kissing.
You ever find out what happened to Cole?
No, I wonder about him. Cole.
Maybe he's still... Hey, Cole?
Hey, Cole. Call me.
Your biggest case of stage fright?
This album, Coming Home, that's actually the name of it. But I was going home, and I was scared to death to sing in front of all the people that watched me grow up.
Last video you watched on YouTube?
I'm a repeat offender, and I love the little girl that finds out she's going to Disneyland, and sometimes I just watch her discover she gets to go, and I watch it over and over. It's kind of...
Favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Dressing, not stuffing. In the South, it's dressing.
Celebrity you're most mistaken for?
Cameron Diaz.
Worst job you've ever had?
A singing telegram person.
What?
Singing telegram person.
You were a singing?
Yeah.
Do they still have them singing?
I don't think so. It can't be safe.
You'd ring a bell and sing?
Yes, and I sang You've Lost That Love and Feeling as little Bo Peep to a man who had a vasectomy. That was not fun.
Is that a joke?
It's the truth. I ended up going in his house and comforting him. I felt so bad.
Worst job you've ever had?
That one.
Oh, I got repeat.
Oh, I was taught aerobics too. I was.
Wow. Last thing you do before walking on stage?
Okay, I do two things. I pray, and then I pop all my knuckles and toes and knees and everything. I pop everything. It's weird, I know.
Are you a little nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous, so I pray and then pop.
Frank Sinatra told me right before he goes on, he would always say, "It better be there."
Oh, I so get it.
TV show you're currently binge watching?
Oh, God, I can't get enough of Veep and Game of Thrones. I'm also like getting on is what
Veep
it's called.
is phenomenal.
It's great.
Celebrity crush?
Simon Pegg.
Someone you'd really want to duet with?
Dolly Parton.
Favorite Bible quote?
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me.
Most dreaded interview question?
Who you dating?
This is tough to ask a Southern Baptist. Your favorite curse word? That's allowed.
That's allowed.
Yeah. Strangest autograph request from a fan?
Oh, a guy wanted me to sign his butt.
Did you?
I did. I mean, I'm not going to discriminate. It was a little hairy, but
You're a Christian, right?
I just signed the butt.
Your most type A trait?
I'm on time.
Me too.
That's why we get along.
Never late.
Never.
Never?
If I'm late, I'm dead.
What's your sign?
Leo. What are you?
Scorpio.
Oh, Leos and Scorpios like each other. We do.
Kristen.
Larry.
Okay. Your new album has a beautiful version of For Good from Wicked.
Yeah.
Will you close us with a few lines? And
Yeah, if you wear the hat.
I'll wear the hat.
And you know, I have to say, I lost my crown. Hang on, I'm coming. So this crown, before I put it on, I just want to say, Larry, this was a bucket list time for me to get to be with you. I wanted to do this interview my whole life, so thank you.
You did?
Yeah, I mean it.
Wow.
Wow, that's some look you got there.
Go ahead.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them.
You're laughing at me. Huh? You're laughing at me.
I'm laughing with you.
No, you're laughing at me because I'm not laughing.
You need to sing now. It's your turn.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know the words. Maybe this time
There you go. That's
it'll happen.
Can't earn enough love you.
Kristen,
Thank you, my darling.
you're a doll, Kristen.
Thank you.
And you stay with it.
I will.
You'll make it in show business. Change your name. Kristin Chenoweth, I want to thank her for the wickedly talented that she is and for being with us here today. Pick up a copy of her new album, Coming Home. It's a beautiful collection of songs. Be sure to watch her concert on PBS on November 28th, which is right around the corner. And remember, I'm on Twitter at Kingstings. See you next time.